Bud, Canelo, done deal. Looks like the fight is signed. What's your thoughts on this fight, man?
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right.
No, I'll be going for Bud. If he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off. He's chasing greatness.
Predictions are pouring in as Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford prepare to face off this September for the undisputed super middleweight title. With Crawford moving up 3 weight classes, the boxing world is divided on who will come out on top.
Canelo's a stronger guy, the bigger guy, but in the fight with a guy that moves around, and if Crawford uses his skills and his legs and his technique and just his ability.
Teddy Atlas recently shared his thoughts on the upcoming matchup. Speaking to Slingo, he didn't just pick Crawford to win. He went deeper, analyzing Canelo's career with a level of scrutiny that few dare to apply. Atlas suggested that despite Canelo's many accomplishments, he may not be the unstoppable force that many fans believe him to be. He referenced a quote from the legendary Marvin Hagler: "It's hard to get up and do road work at 5 in the morning when you've been sleeping in silk sheets." That alone, Atlas implied, speaks volumes. He believed that Canelo's immense wealth and long-standing dominance may have softened his competitive edge.
He's a little overrated.
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. Really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup, where he came from.
Teddy Atlas went even deeper by revisiting some of Canelo Alvarez's most significant fights and questioning their outcomes. According to him, Canelo didn't deserve the win in either of his first 2 fights against Gennady Golovkin. He also brought up the controversial fight with Erislandy Lara, which many believe Lara actually won, of course. Canelo's only official loss came against Floyd Mayweather, but Atlas framed that bout as yet another example of Canelo being outboxed at the elite level. Still, Atlas didn't dismiss Canelo's abilities. He was careful to acknowledge that the Mexican champion is a hell of a fighter with a heck of a legacy. But in the same breath, he returned to a haunting question. Is Canelo overrated?
Say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford.
It's not just Teddy Atlas making headlines. Shannon Briggs, the bombastic former heavyweight champion known for his famous "Let's Go Champ" catchphrase, is also backing Terence Crawford. And not just a win on points. Briggs is predicting a stoppage, something that would shake the foundations of the boxing world if it happens. For Briggs, this isn't a cautious take. He's expressing the kind of conviction usually reserved for guaranteed outcomes. He even said he might put money on it, despite not being much of a betting man. Briggs is rarely this confident in prediction, but with Crawford, he sees a finisher, a knockout artist, a man stepping up to greatness rather than running from it.
Speaking of Canelo, did you catch his past performance and what did you think?
I always think that Canelo have a good performance, but the last one are are not good. Don't look good. His opponent and him don't make an entertaining fight. So I don't know, man. I don't like it, the fight.
Last thing, since you fought Canelo, how much better has he gotten? And him.
On the other hand, Abel Sanchez, the veteran trainer who helped shape Gennady Golovkin's career, offered a contrasting opinion. With first-hand experience of how Canelo handled pressure at the elite level, Sanchez spoke to KO Artist Sports about the importance of weight classes. His take was blunt. Crawford is entering a division where power, size, and durability are on a whole different level. Sanchez reminded everyone that Canelo has stood toe-to-toe with thunderous punches in higher divisions and never looked rattled. Aside from an early career scare against Jose Cotto, Sanchez believes that despite Crawford's brilliance, The jump to super middleweight may simply be too big of a leap to overcome.
Canelo and Bud. Who you like in this fight?
Canelo.
Why? Because Bud had to move up 3 classes?
Yes. And in the history of boxing, I've never seen anybody move up 2 classes and be successful.
Well, Roy did.
I mean, but not in one jump, not in one leap.
Right, you're right.
It was here,
right.
Light, heavyweight, fight a few fights,
right.
Okay, heavyweight. We talking about he just fought 147, one fight.
Then there's Teofimo Lopez, the brash and talented WBO junior welterweight champion, never short on confidence. For Lopez, picking Crawford isn't just about belief. It's about legacy and positioning that if Crawford beats Canelo, Lopez wants it on that spotlight. He's already imagining a showdown with Crawford and sees it as a 2-for-1 opportunity. Beat Crawford. Beat the man who beat Canelo. Lopez even took a swipe at Canelo's camp, suggesting they are not interested in facing him. Sure, there's some promotional self-interest at play, but it adds another layer to the storyline. Among rising stars, Crawford is being seen as a gateway to greatness, not Canelo.
Crawford, Canelo, who you got?
Crawford, Canelo? I still say Canelo.
I got Canelo too.
I still say Canelo. Ring IQ, I believe that Crawford has a bit more.
Yep.
However, it's just the size difference. I think that where Crawford is lacking is that he should test the waters even with somebody at that weight class before facing Canelo. But hey, they say he's a dog. He's got shot in the head and drove to the hospital, so maybe that.
Stephen Breadman Edwards, a respected trainer and boxing strategist, echoed the sentiment that Crawford could be the man to shock the world that he highlighted a simple yet often overlooked truth. Anyone can be hurt. Edwards cited legends like Evander Holyfield and Roberto Duran, both known for their iron chins, both of whom still got caught and dropped in their careers. Canelo's chin is one of his most reliable weapons, but as Edwards reminded everyone, no chin is invincible, and if there's anyone who knows how to find that perfect moment to strike, it's Crawford. Precision, timing, instinct. Crawford weaponizes all 3 with surgical efficiency.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show.
As for concerns about ring rust, Edwards isn't worried about Crawford's layoff since his August 2024 win over Israel Madrimov. According to him, Crawford is one of those rare fighters who doesn't need tune-ups. While most boxers lose sharpness after time off, Crawford returns like he never left. It defies conventional boxing wisdom, where rhythm and timing often fade with inactivity. But in Crawford, Edwards sees a fighter whose internal clock never stops ticking, a rare talent.
He's just moving, but his movement is good, to be honest.
Yeah. What do you do when there's a fighter that comes to not win but last? You've just heard, we can hear now, Canelo has won the fight. What do you do when someone comes to last the distance and not try and win?
What should do or what?
Yeah, how does Canelo avoid this? Because it happened, he feels, against Berlanga, and 90%.
Taken together, these predictions don't form a consensus, but they do reveal a fascinating divide point. One camp believes Canelo's size, experience at higher weight classes, and durability will be too much for Crawford. The other sees Crawford's skill, intelligence, and hunger as a winning edge. Each viewpoint shines a light on a different dimension of the fight. Sanchez emphasizes natural weight and physical advantages. Briggs and Atlas point to hunger and momentum. Lopez sees a generational opportunity. Edwards focuses on the idea that even the toughest fighters can fall with the right shot at the right time.
Manny, what do you think about Canelo versus Crawford? Crawford's moving up like 20 pounds. What do you think?
Good. Good for Canelo.
Good for Canelo?
The critical thread running through all these takes. Crawford is not being treated like an underdog, he's being treated like a threat. Despite jumping up multiple weight classes beyond his welterweight roots, many believe Crawford has the tools to dethrone Canelo. That's unusual in boxing. When a smaller fighter moves up, the narrative is usually about surviving, owning respect, or pulling off a miracle, but not here. This is about conquest, Crawford isn't being framed as David with a slingshot. He's being cast as an apex predator entering hostile territory to dominate.
Last question, Mr. Boozy. Canelo Alvarez, William Skull.
Right.
Canelo landed, I think that broke the record for the most punches, well, the least punches thrown and the least punches landed in a 12-round fight. I think Canelo landed 55 punches.
Right.
William Skull used a lot of movement. People were calling it running.
Same like a...
You told me that Terence Crawford and Canelo was a 50-50 fight. You told me Terence Crawford had a chance.
Right.
Me, I was leaning towards Canelo because of the size.
Meanwhile, Canelo's recent performance against William Skull has raised fresh questions. Yes, he won by unanimous decision, but something felt off. There was no urgency, no fire, no sense of dominance. For some, that reads as a calm of a seasoned champion. But for critics like Atlas, it suggests something more troubling. Comfort, complacency, maybe even decline. Canelo has been a pro for nearly 2 decades. He has been rich, famous, and at the top of the sport for years. He has been the face of boxing, the king of the cash split, the main event. But that kind of comfort, Atlas warns, can erode the killer instinct. Crawford, on the other hand, still fights like a man with something to prove, to himself and to the world.
With Crawford going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154, 160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Canelo. Yeah.
Oh, Canelo. I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power. And then Canelo, you know, when he's fought Belenga, then fought Ryder, Munguia, it's even. I think it'd be a 50-50 fight if Crawford fought Canelo.